how I got into this mix.
She will be the Democratic nominee for president. And I intend to do everything I can to make certain she will be the next president of the United States.
This is Derek Bros. Yep, it's unfortunately true. Bernie Sanders has indeed endorsed Hillary Clinton. Many people predicted that this was coming. I myself predicted this was coming, and full disclosure before we go any further in this video, I am not a Bernie Sanders supporter. I wrote an article last year called 5 Questions for Bernie Sanders Supporters. I've been critical of his ideas in some ways. I'm happy that he's out there calling attention to corruption and the oppression and things that exist in this country where other politicians choose not to, but philosophically and economically I disagree with him. But beyond that, we are at a moment now that I have experienced, that many others have experienced. The moment is where those of you who spent the last year, the last months, giving money, time, and energy, talking to your friends about Bernie Sanders, about why he was different than Hillary Clinton, and why he should be elected the next president, are now faced with a choice. You are faced with the reality that your candidate has endorsed the person that he spent so much time talking against and presenting himself as the alternative to. Now, this is all being done to try to keep you guys who felt the burn within the Democratic Party, because they recognize the power that you have, the power of this sort of movement, this revolution that you guys are working on. The problem, though, that I see, and I think many people recognize, is that the revolution is being co-opted and taken within the political world. And that's what the Democratic Party is trying to do, and unfortunately Bernie Sanders is going along with this. Many people experienced this 4 years ago when they put all their hope into Ron Paul. Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders are diametrically opposed in many ways, but they did leave these sort of outside the mainstream revolutions and movements. Ultimately, Ron Paul was treated the same way as Bernie Sanders was by the Democratic Party, but on the Republican side. The difference, though, I will point out, is that Ron Paul never endorsed Mitt Romney, and it's just a slight difference. But those who followed Ron Paul and who believed in his ideas and the power that his movement, put out there in the country in 2012 and 2008, many of those people have become anarchists or voluntarists or just people who choose to work outside the system or who gave up on politics. I am one of those people. I never voted before. I've only voted one time in my life, and that was in the 2004 election when I was 18 years old. And I haven't voted since. There's nobody out there that represents me, represents my values. And I know you don't get anybody perfect, nobody exactly like you, but to me this system is so corrupted, it's so immoral, that there's no way that I can support it, even with a vote. So I want to challenge you, my friends, who felt the burn, to think about this. Is Hillary Clinton going to give you the answers you want? Is Donald Trump going to give you the answers you want? Bernie Sanders proved he wasn't going to give you the answers you want. Is Jill Stein or Gary Johnson going to give you the answers you want? If you must vote, go ahead, consider the third parties, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party. But also consider this. You spent all this energy putting time into the political system, the electoral system, the presidential federal system. This energy isn't even going to your local community. Maybe you can take that energy now and reinvest it into your local community, build gardens, if you choose to be invested in politics, run for local office, try to affect things on a local level, but have conversations with your neighbor. Don't let your movement end here because Bernie has chosen to endorse Clinton. And I hope that you guys don't just get sucked into the Democratic Party like many people did on the Republican Party in 2008 and 2012. We have to let go of these two parties, and we have to choose new options. And my final point is, if you believe there are no options, I want to present you with a couple. I personally do not believe that there will be any solutions found in bullets with violent revolution or in ballots through voting. I believe there is a third option, a third way, a middle path, if you will. And I encourage you to research agorism, counter-economics. These are ideas that I believe can help us create something. Essentially, it involves taking our power and instead of reinvesting it back into the state and back into the system, creating something new outside, creating counter-institutions that serve the people. I have tons of videos that talk more about this. I'll post those in the links. I encourage you guys to look into these. There are solutions out there. And also, challenge yourself to think about this. Is government really the best way to get our problems solved? Can we do better? Can we look outside of government for answers? Think about that. And please, please, do not let that fire that you felt the last months and years that you put towards Bernie Sanders' movement, don't let that fire burn out, and don't let it be extinguished by this system. There is hope, but it's not in that system. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free. Peace.